So guys, I want to start off by welcoming you to my channel. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. So this is the MyForexFunds Dashboard. This is where you can look at the account. So I just recently started this account. I took my first trade actually back on Tuesday. So I still have 27 days left. I will update you on my progress. So far I have made, like I showed you from the MT4, $351.90. The profit target is $800. This is the 10K challenge. Today I made 129.90. And guys, this is my win rate, 81.82%. But as you know, high win rate doesn't matter. It's all about your risk to reward. And this is the average return per trade. I only trade the S&P 500. I've learned to try to control myself, not to take too many trades in a day. So that's why I usually try to stick to around 1 to 3 max trades per day. I'm going to keep on updating you on my progress. I do not know if I'm going to pass the challenge. Hopefully I do. So far so good. I could have made more, but I closed a few trades early. I didn't hold for too long. I'm still a scalper at heart. But so far that has been my progress. And this is the dashboard. So I'm going to walk you through just a trade I took today. Today is Friday, May 27th, 2022. So I only trade the New York session. I have traded London before, but I primarily stick to the New York session. So the first thing that I always look at, not just throughout the week, but also over the weekend, I look at the economic calendar. So I'll put a link to the one that I use. You can also use the one from Forex Factory. And there's other economic calendars. I always look at what is going on. I look at the different meetings that are going on. I mainly pay attention to the ones that are high important. So you can filter out by the different importance. I mainly focus on the high ones. So I know that going in today, there are some news that will be coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time for the New York session. I do not trade the news. I've learned my lesson from trying to do that, all right? But it does play a big impact on the direction of the market. And it's great when it goes in your direction, but when it goes against you, it will go against you, and it will go against you very fast, all right? And there's also the Michigan consumer sentiment, which was to come out at 10 a.m. Eastern time today. So with that being said, knowing that, all right, the first thing I checked out the news, all right? The next thing, I always look at CNBC, all right? So I always look at CNBC, and I saw that one of the headlines that they had before the market opened was that there was actually some positive inflation news that actually came out, that they see inflation is slowing down. Now, I do not make my trades primarily based on what the news is, but I factor it in. I feel it's very important to not just be only a technical analysis trader, but have the best of both worlds. Throw in some fundamental analysis, because that impacts the direction of price. All right. So with that being said, I checked out the news, the economic calendar. I checked out CNBC. And now the technical analysis. Let's look at the chart. So I always use the 15 minutes for entry. Sometimes I'll use the 5-minute, even going down to the 3, the 1. I feel that every single time frame is important because they're all correlated, right? And as you know, the smaller time frames are just a piece of the overall picture. So the bigger time frames are very important. So real quick, let's look at the hour. Keep in mind, guys, we're pretending that the market hasn't opened yet. So we saw that from 8 to 9, there is a big green bullish engulfing candle that came in, all right? And prior to that, throughout London and overnight, the market was moving sideways, very flat. So there was not a lot of momentum to the downside. Look right here, there's a big red candle, but it did not break that level of support. So the fact that it failed to break that level of support, it looks like there's a possibility that price could push up. So after that, factoring in the inflation news, that was very positive. Looking at the economic calendar and knowing that there's going to be news that come out at 10, I knew that going into today that it was going to be very volatile. Price was going to move quick, and just have to make sure to find the right direction, right? And seeing that big green bullish engulfing candle on the 1 hour, that showed me that price was going to most likely be bullish today. All right, but nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. Now, also looking at the 4 hour, as we see, 4 hour looks very green, looks bullish, and zooming out, let's zoom out a little bit. We can see that there's a level of resistance up here, level of resistance around up here, but this was before the market opened, so there was not a lot of resistance to push price back down. All right, and now looking at the daily, daily has been bullish, price has been pumping up, and looking at the weekly, big green bullish engulfing candle, right? So that just shows me that price most likely will be bullish, right? Guys, it's very important to look at the confluence. If the higher time frames, whether you're a scalper or not, if the higher time frames are all bullish, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, and even the 1 hour are all green, why in the world would you try to short? Yes, it can work out, but if you don't have the perfect timing, the perfect exit, there's a good chance if you're using the smaller time frames, talking about the 30-minute, 15 minutes, 5-minute, 1 minute, 3 minutes, even the 1 hour, you can kind of say that too. If you do not have the perfect entry, there's a good chance that price will go against you, because like they always say, the trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. So whenever you're going against the trend or you're trying to trade a reversal, be careful. All right. So knowing this and looking at all the confluences and combining with the positive inflation news, and also looking at the economic calendar, and also price has been just dropping nonstop since April. At some point, there's going to be a little dead cat bounce. All right. So I knew this going in, and combining all of this, most likely I know today was going to be a bullish day. So from combining this and keeping everything in mind and all the positive news, combining the confluences, seeing all these green candles, I know that most likely today was going to be kind of bullish. All right. I don't know exactly how bullish it's going to be, but I know it's going to be bullish most likely. Most likely. Now, it's very important to trade what you see, not what you think. All right, and be ready to react. So like I said, guys, I prefer to take my entries based on the 15 minutes. Yes, sometimes I use the 5 minutes, sometimes I use 3, sometimes I use the 1, but my preference is the 15 minutes. I just find it that it just gives a better probability. All right, now of course you can use time frames that are lower than that, but I just find from my experience that it gives a better probability. To be honest, today I missed out on some of the pips. All right, I just rather be sure than take a guess. I've made that mistake before. So I waited for market to open. All right, even though I had a good idea that today would be very bullish and it would move fast, price would move fast, I missed out on this big green candle right here. This is about, let's see, it's a little bit above about 20-25 pips. So all right, market opened at 9:30, price pushed up. I waited to see if price was gonna pull back, but it never did. So with that being said, I got in actually at 9:38, seeing that price never really pulled back, and also just keeping in mind the bullish inflation news. Keeping in mind, I always look at the 4 hour, the 1 hour at the same time on my different monitor. I decided to go in for a buy. All right, so I went in for a buy. Once I got into the trade, guys, my TP was actually at 41.70, but I started seeing around noon o'clock that price started moving sideways and momentum started slowing down. And today is also a Friday, so I know volume is actually less, so I decided to play it safe and just close the trade. I took profits before it hit my TP, and that is how I made the $129 today. All right, now this is another trade that I took. All right, so basically this was actually on May 26, 2022. So I always wait usually for the first 15 minutes to be done once market opens. So I wait for 9:45 before trying to analyze if I should get in or not. I wasn't 100% sure if price was gonna pull back, so I waited even further. I waited to actually around 10:06. That is when I got in. So I got in around this candle. And for that trade, I actually looked at the 5-minute. So just to see if there was going to be a big pullback, because there was a lot of distance for it to be able to pull back, maybe try to retest, because it opened with a big green bullish engulfing candle right at market open. And usually when there's those big green candles or big red candles, price will sometimes try to retest, do a little pullback before continuing in that direction. So I didn't want to get caught up into that pullback. So to play it safe, I waited to 10:06. Guys, I sometimes when I trade, I give up a lot of pips, but I'd rather be sure. So with this trade, knowing that I got in a bit late and knowing the average amount of pips that SPX moves in a day, so I knew that I shouldn't try to go after too much pips. So I only went after 20 pips, and if I get less, then so be it. I'll take whatever the market gives me as long as I can be able to finish the day in green and not in red. The goal when trading is always to take small losses, small wins, big wins, but never a big, huge loss, right? So I got in and prices started going up. I got out at 11:30ish, around here. The reason why I got out was because I know that around noon you'll see that price will pull back because lunch, Wall Street goes to lunch around that time. You'll see your stocks and indices and whatever pairs that you're trading during the New York session around noontime. If it's been very bullish, sometimes there'll be a little pullback or even reversal. So to be safe, I decided to get out and just take my profits, right? And just as always, guys, I looked at the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Going back, let me show you. So remember, I got in at 10:06. So by the time 10:06 had came, I saw a big green candle right here. So I knew that price was most likely going to pop up a little bit more, and it did. And I knew not to try to get too greedy. So I took what I could get that day, and that is how I made that $85. So guys, please feel free to give your feedback if you want me to go into more details and make future videos about how I trade, my trading strategy, or the way I see the market. Here's some tips that I want to give you guys, right? First and foremost, when it comes to doing the MyForex challenge or any prop firm challenge, if you do not have a strategy, if you have never flipped an account, if you've never made consistent profits, don't waste your money on taking those strategies, all right? Do not waste your money doing that. Focus on finding a strategy that works for you. What might work for one person may not work for another. Think of trading like basketball, right? Some people are good at blocking. Some people are good at rebounding. Some people are good three-point shooters. Some people are good from shooting 2 points. Some people are good at just dunking. So just find whatever area that you're good at, focus on it, try to be a master at that area. Don't try to trade too many pairs. Try to focus on one or just a small set amount. Learn how they move. Study the charts every day. The markets are constantly changing. What works today may not work tomorrow, okay? And just because a strategy doesn't work for you have 2 losing trades does not mean that you have to jump and try to find a new strategy. Always back test. Never get cocky. The markets will always humble you. Other tips that I want to give you guys is be careful with over leveraging, all right? When you over leverage, yes, you make money quick, but when price pulls back on you, there's no guarantees that price will go directly into your direction. There's a possibility it might pull back. So when you're over leveraged and price pulls back, you can blow your account or you get scared and you just close the trade because you see that big fat number that is in red. So don't over leverage. And overall, guys, I will keep you updated throughout my journey throughout the MyForexFunds challenge. So far, so good. And with that being said, I am out. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family.